Hello everyone, Mrhappy here, and welcome to Mondays with Mrhappy, aka Mrhappy Mondays, the weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. So, we have the video out at a normal time this week. Obviously, PAX South last week impacted the time of day the video came out, but we're back to normal, recording this on a Sunday, on Super Bowl Sunday. Hopefully you all enjoyed it and ate lots of food and won some money, whatever it is people who actually watch sports do. Mel and I, we actually went to Towley's house, and him and his girlfriend, they provided a lot of food. A lot of people. We brought food. A lot of other people brought food. There was barbecue. There was greens. There was just Girl Scout cookies. We brought potato balls, which were amazing. And it was just good company. A lot of friends that we get to see at conventions. A lot of people that even at conventions we really don't get to see them all too often. So it was nice to catch up and talk with people, just be in a relaxing scenario. It's 2 hours away, but it was fun time. This last week has been pretty exciting. I think this next week's going to be exciting. Last week we finally got the 3DS streams going. Final Fantasy Explorers, I'm enjoying it so far. I can see where the criticisms come from, but as an RPG player, I don't experience those criticisms as much, so because obviously I have a biased opinion. I'll put out a review of some sorts on Final Fantasy Explorers at some point. I have positive and negative feelings about the game, certain things that just don't feel right. On top of that, this coming week we will be having a new patch for Blade & Soul. We're hoping for some new Final Fantasy XIV information with patch 3.2. I'm expecting the trailer to drop on Tuesday. Just my guess. We'll see. The trailer plus the website. We also have probably more 15 stuff coming. March 30th is Final Fantasy 15 Uncovered. We'll be there. And then what is it? So the Blade & Soul patch. Just there's so many things going on. I can't even really keep track of it all. All I know is I'm glad to have a lot to do. So thankfully, got plenty of videos lined up this week for YouTube, and hopefully some less interrupted streams. We've been having a lot of trouble with streaming for the past 3 days, just constant connection drops from like 10 a.m. to like 4:30 p.m. So we're hoping that that's fixed. We have a tech coming out Monday morning, but before you even see this probably. We're just hoping for the best. So hopefully it's fixed and my Monday stream can be normal and I won't be in a foul mood, because it's honestly, when my stream doesn't work, it upsets me. It upsets me a lot because I feel like I'm letting however many hundreds of people show up on a daily basis, or thousands of people that show up on a daily basis. I feel like I'm letting them down, and I don't want to let them down. I want to be able to provide a quality product. I want to be able to push for that 900 subs. Can't do that if the stream won't load. So fingers crossed, hoping for the best. But for now, let's answer some questions. Actually, no, but first we gotta do videos. We gotta do videos right here, wherever this is. I don't even know what videos did I even put out. I put out Final Fantasy Explorers video. I put out some 14 videos. I put out a few videos. I think I put out an opinion on Final Fantasy 15 as well. Whatever it is, I'll just put it over here. We have some more Blade & Soul videos coming out this week. Stuff covering Bloody Shade Harbor. I still have to do videos on the other one. I've done the 6-man. I haven't done the 4-man yet, though. I was supposed to do the 4-man until my internet started cutting out on Friday. But, oh well, we'll see what we can do with Blade & Soul. We have a few unsponsored and sponsored Blade & Soul streams coming this week, so hopefully it's a good time. Anyway, let's now move on to some of the questions over on the Dream Network forum, shall we? Alright, question number 1. Hope you had a nice Tuesday last week, but to help you back in the routine, have a warrior question. There's no question. The answer is always yes. Actually, let me read the question. Berserk macro, yes or no? I mean, the macro which tells healers to assume me when I have 5 seconds of pacification. Should I use it even when I don't like that P macro over usage? It's hit or miss. In the Duty Finder, most healers don't give a shit if you use that macro. They're not going to remove it for you. They're not even reading chat. It has its occasional use. The problem is if you run with people who you are already familiar with, the macro rarely has any impact because the people are used to cleansing that. You maybe make a macro, but you don't go like all the way through like 5 seconds till pacification or something like that. Healers that actually pay attention to the way you play are more likely to get it, and it helps those players, but that's such a small percentage of the Duty Finder. I'd say there's no harm in doing it. You're not losing anything by doing it, because no matter what, either they're gonna either get rid of it or they aren't. This at least brings attention to it, so you're more likely to actually get that pacification removed if you use it. Just expect the occasional healer to be like, huh, fuck you, and not do anything. It's gonna happen. Alright, next question. Hey, Happy, when do you think we'll ever get those damn Grand Company ranks? I swear I answer this question like once a week. Have you, this is your first time posting? No, it's your third time posting. Yeah, I answer this question like once a week or once every other week. It's literally, they said, when we have something meaningful for them. In other words, they don't just want to add ranks 4, 5, and 6, and or whatever rank we're on. It's the first 3, and then it's like private, first private, second private, whatever, second lieutenant. And they just said, until we have something useful to do with them, then we won't incorporate them, which is fine, because if they just do it and it's like, they want more, just give them more ranks. There's nothing really useful for that, but whatever, maybe you just give level 60 gear, whatever. No, they want content. They want to actually be able to produce content for it. So when they produce content for it, which I assume we'll be having the Grand Company, exploration. No, not exploration's not the right word, because that makes it sound like diadem. The Grand Company mercenary system, where you'll be able to hire NPCs for your Grand Company, and then sort of create your own army. I assume that's going to be something that's going to happen when we go to Alamigo, or we attempt to take back Alamigo from the Garleans. So we'll see what happens with that. But that is where I personally expect us to run into that scenario where the Grand Company ranks. So not at least till 4.0 is my guess. Next question. Hello, Mr. Happy. I hope you had a nice weekend. Other than the internet problems, it was pretty good. Also went to Magic Castle this last weekend. The Magic Castle. If you haven't heard of it, Google it. That was my first. I didn't know about it before, a few weeks ago, and then I went. It was pretty cool. You got to wear suit and tie. You need special invites. You got to say open sesame to get in the door. It was pretty cool. It was pretty poppin', and the drinks were strong. My question is, lore-wise speaking, who would you think is the strongest primal or icon? Bahamut or the Warring Triad? Bahamut, probably. The thing is, the Warring Triad, before being sealed away, is probably the more likely thing. They're probably a bit weaker now that they've been sealed away for so long. You'd think that of Bahamut. If Bahamut was weaker when we released him, I don't know. I think that the way we fought Bahamut, I still feel like he's the strongest entity we've actually seen in the story, because a lot of people tend to say, oh, he's level 50 versus, the manipulator's level 60. Levels aren't indicative of your strength. They're just, it's just there for the MMO feel, the levels, to tie your character to some sort of progression. It's not there to facilitate, hey, this is the strength of this enemy over this enemy. This level 60 enemy in the story is very clearly stronger lore-wise than this level 50 enemy because they're level 60. That's not what the levels do. So I think the Bahamut's probably just stronger against any one of the individual Triad. All 3 of them together, I don't know, I might take all 3 of them, but we haven't seen what they can do yet. So I'm going to actually say against all 3 of the Triad at once, probably I would take the Triad. Next question. Hey, Happy, with the recent Lucrezia disband and Team Updog leaving the race, do you think you got a shot at World First? Or do you think Japan will get another raid team and get it again? Also, with the lower difficulty, you guys are going to push harder raid time since the race could be shorter. Oh, the race will be shorter. I can tell you this, it'll be shorter than 5 fucking weeks. That much I can guarantee you. I'm expecting it to die. Whoever ends up World Firsting it, us, someone else, I expect it to die on either the 8th or the 11th day. So I'm going to include Tuesday of the patch as day 1, which means the following Tuesday would technically be day 8, not day 7. So I'm expecting it either that Tuesday or that Friday. I don't know why I don't think it could be Wednesday or Thursday. I just think that maybe with the second week worth of gear, it'll push people far enough. There's also the possibility they make it just enough so you need the weapons. I just have a feeling someone's going to beat the final fight without the weapons. Whoever it's going to be, hopefully us. I don't know, but we will find out. And Japan still has a lot of very strong teams. Let's be clear. Lucrezia disband was not as, super crazy as people thought. A lot of people don't know the follow-up that happened, where the leader of that group basically just said it was, there was leadership problems. I think he also said there were, conflicts within the group between him and certain people. So the other 7 people, I'm pretty sure, are still finding a raid group or just looking for a new raid group, and there's a possibility they all raid together again. I haven't been keeping up with that. But let's just say Lucrezia, as far as it seems like they are out, I still don't consider them out of the race. And I think that there's a lot of really good contenders out there. I still think that Elysium has multiple groups, not just our group, Team K-Pop. There's a lot of groups with, the experience. Chia from the World First groups in ours, Layla and Folder in a group. The talent is out there, and the talent is still very strong. And that could very easily lead to another Elysium World First, not necessarily Team K-Pop. But we're all working together. We are all pushing as hard as we can. And I think there's a good possibility that Elysium claims it again. Next question. Hey, what's happy, Mr. Happening? The thing is, you see the shield right here for the microphone? I can't actually see behind that. Is it weird that without being able to see the name of the person, I think I know who it is? Let me check. No, I was wrong. Okay, never mind. I was completely wrong. So, I was recently making a day 1 to-do list for when the next patch comes out in order to get my priorities, and since I'm not hardcore into Savage Tier rating, Alexander nestled pretty low on it. Good that you've identified that. A lot of people never go through the step of identifying what they actually want to do in the patch. With the recent State of the Realm being almost entirely about getting prepped for World Prog, it was not about getting prepped for World Prog. That was a piece of it. It was more about identifying if you wanted to even be a raider in the first place. Although we had Sly's perspective, which is more of the casual, just get it done when we get it done raider, and me as the perspective of the we're going to get it done as fast as possible and compete for World Prog. That is what the show is about. It wasn't entirely about World Prog. We did come from 2 different perspectives on that one. Let's see. How world progression parties will most likely be skipping most other things for quite a while to try and make world first. You're damn right about that. So what is your actual question? As a content creator on YouTube, what is your to-do list? And now this is a really, really tough question. So what usually ends up happening to me is there's time in between World Prog to check out other content. That's just kind of the way it levels out. For example, when you're taking an hour break, you aren't taking a full hour's break most of the time. You're usually running the new dungeons, the new Extreme Primal, and you're running it with the people around you that have gone out of their way to do it, so you don't have to actually spend time progressing on it. And that's only if it's actually relevant to your race. I think everyone who's in the World Prog race does not consider a world first of Sephiroth to be a meaningful thing whatsoever. It's never been meaningful, really, at least to me, to be world first on an Extreme Primal, something that will happen easily within probably 2.5 to 4 hours of the patch being live. When it comes to YouTube, though, the biggest thing is I am focused on the progression. It is a side effect in this case that I am able to record fights and use that footage in guides. Although the problem then stems, was this the optimal strategy, or is this just the strategy we got by with? That really calls into question. That called into question a lot of my old guides, especially because we got by with crazy strats. Not always the most optimal, but effective, you know what I mean? So then I have to weigh, do I wait 2 weeks to put out a guide, or do I just place our strategy out there and say, this is what we did, this was ours, it's not the only way. And there's a lot of that goes into it. There's a lot of thought in those 1 hour breaks that goes into work, while the rest is all mind is in progression. Definitely be tackling the other stuff. Definitely get the dungeon guides out. I do use my spare time on things like that. So it's just that I just live and breathe pretty much the patch for a week. I'll even be hopefully streaming still within that week, at least an hour or 2 a day. Usually using again those 1 hour breaks. And on the first day, I believe I get a 4-hour window to stream where our Black Mage has to do something, and there's like no way he can be there. So luckily, the race is really for the whole thing. That's probably going to cost us some time on the first and second floor, but in the grand scheme of things, it probably doesn't cost us much at all. But we're going ham on the World Prog. Like that's what I'm doing. That is what is going to be happening pretty much. And of course, we plan out meals, we plan out sleeping. Don't worry, we don't try to kill ourselves. We just push our body to its limits, really. Next question, and again, I've already read the first, 2 words. Now I think I know who it is. Okay, I was wrong again. I'm going to stop trying that. Yo, Haps, Trait Tree, Samurai. One path can make it high single target, another path making tank. So, let's be very clear about something. We will probably never see another class in this game. I will say it right now. We will probably never see another base class in this game. It will most likely only be jobs from now on. Yoshi P has alluded to it. I think the class job system is flawed and needs to be removed. I think there are so few benefits to it that is way more confusing for new players than it is beneficial for veterans. I think it's an awful system overall. So this whole Ronin Shogun thing, it's not going to happen. And also, Yoshi P recently in an interview said that this game is not very well designed around skill trees. So again, don't expect it. Ninja Cross Class, Shadeshift, and Goad, Lancer, Blood for Blood, of course, Kappa. Traits to offensive cooldown, defensive ones, rip the job abilities. What do you think? It's not happening. I mean, okay, I shouldn't say it's not happening. Obviously, I have no information to back that up. based on the statements between, you know, we don't think this game is going in that direction, and they'll probably never release another base class. I don't see it happening. And I know you're specifically talking about trees and not class splitting into jobs. I think that entire aspect is likely not coming, and especially not coming at the same time Samurai is coming, based on recent comments. On a serious note, I don't know where I align the hardcore casual scale, because who cares? And I agree. As long if you don't, why are you asking? But I enjoy A3 and A4 normal mode so much. I think they are beautiful fights for players like me. Do you think A5 and 8 will be on the same level and harder, even just a little harder, please? They're normal modes. Like, normal mode's never going to be like that satisfying of a challenge. They'll be fun, but they're never going to be like a great challenge for players. So I doubt they'll be harder. There's always the chance they'll be harder than like A3 and A4, but that's not how raid design works. You don't immediately go into the next raid and see this has to be harder than the last one. No, but you can see that with Savage and how that didn't work. Final Coil was easier than Second Coil, etc., etc. So if you enjoy those fights, then you'll probably enjoy 5 to 8. It's just those aren't really, to me at least, they're not like long lasting. Like I don't sit there thinking, yeah, I can't wait to do more normal mode. I get there going like, let's go into Savage, yeah. But that's me. A lot of people do enjoy normal mode. They enjoy the story being given to them in that aspect, and it's unfortunate I'm not going to be able to watch cutscenes till like a break or something during World Prog. But hopefully I'll be able to catch up on the story before Ethis kills me. So hopefully you enjoy 5 to 8, but there's no way of knowing, and I don't expect them, especially not the normal mode, to be significantly harder than A3 and 4 normal. Next question. I like it. Long time viewer, first time asking, so I have full Treadworm gear. Wait, what do you mean by too late? You knew. Sorry for the mess, try to keep it short, but we'll improve. Here it is. So what do you think about Dragoon AoE? Doomspike, Ring of Thorns, Sure Skogul. It's good. Dragoon AoE's not bad. It's better than fucking Ninja. It's just not as good as Monks. And, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad AoE. It's there, and it's effective. Doomspike, Ring 3, yeah, that's good. It's nothing wrong with it, really. But if I had to choose between Monk AoE and Dragoon AoE, I would pick a Monk. And then if I had to pick Ninja, I would not want to AoE. Ninja AoE sucks. It sucks, it sucks, it sucks. Wait, Camp 1. Either single target at 6 enemies... Wait a minute. Wait. I'm so confused. Wait a minute. Okay, I think that was the only question. The rest is like backup story. Like, you know, like this is what I do in this scenario. I don't play Dragoon, so I don't know any of this. I don't know like the little things that are the tidbits that are different about Dragoon. So I'm just gonna say, yeah, it's just not bad. It's just better than ninjas. That's for damn certain. Just not as good as monks. All right, next one. Mr. Happy, how's it going? Long time lurker, first time poster, so enjoy a head start for I need that, because that's a lot less dungeons to do on World Prog Week. Something I've been wondering about, what kind of work goes into the production of your videos and shows like Stay of the Realm? To be more specific, how does the process of writing a script go for you? And script, I don't know why I said it like that. And what kind of things are you looking for during filming and or editing? So editing, I think it takes a bit of time out of the day, but it's something that's kind of relaxing in a sense. It depends on what kind of editing. Like, I don't throw in crazy effects. I know how to do some of that stuff. I did a lot of video editing throughout high school and college, but I never got into doing super crazy things, like fully creating like productions and designs from scratch. I don't have an artistic touch like that. When it comes to production, it comes down to, is it easy to look at? Is the audio okay? And is it engaging? Those are really the 3 top things I'd say that I look for. Like, for example, if I make a video about Final Fantasy XIV, if it's a guide, I'm thinking, okay, how's the audio sound? Is what's on the screen easily understood? And how can people engage in this in the comment section under the video? In this case, it's how stupid do I look on the screen? In the case of Mondays with Mr. Happy, is the audio decent? Because obviously I'm not like recording, so I'm not just speaking into the microphone like this. I'm looking at the camera, which is a little bit away. And then I look at how can I get people engaged. That's a case of you asking a question. Those are really the biggest things, is trying to get people to engage. I'd say that's the toughest aspect of any of them. When it comes to writing a script, first you have to pick a topic, then you have to, you know, consult with everyone if there is any additions people want to make, any specific notes they want to write down. And there are show notes. There is an order in which things happen. You very rarely wing an entire show, although we have done it once or twice in the past when we weren't sure what we were going to do for a show that week. And then during filming, you just want to make sure that everything works and there's no picnics and no disasters. And then editing is really simple for something like Stay of the Realm, because it's a podcast. You're not chopping it up and putting it into pieces. You're just posting it all as one go. and you just have to make sure that, you know, the opening is there, starts at the right time, it ends at the right time to cut off pre-show and post-show. It's really not as complicated as it seems, and I know a lot of people who watch my channel, they know that. You know, people who are serious video editors know that I don't take super advanced techniques into anything. It's pretty much just the bare bones, and when I need something a little bit flashier, I'll put in the time to do it. I just very, very rarely need to do that with the kind of content that we produce. Alright, next question. What's going on, Haps? First time asker, so from me to you, have the best bonus ever. A ninja buff of your choice. Dream within a dream, I'm looking at you. It's totally not for my benefit too, don't worry about it. Hey, you know what I want? Duality, Death Blossom. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand. Why can't I throw twice as many knives? It's the only AoE weapon skill that I have. So, why doesn't Duality work with it? Like, once every 90 seconds, do 200 potency in an AoE. Come on, give that to me. Make our AoE a little less laughable. Speaking of the glorious ninja master race, I'm sure you don't have to worry about this because your stacks warriors is top class. Oh yeah, we have a warrior. When it comes to warriors in a raid environment not being perfectly consistent with Storm's Eye, when is it better to just play safe and put up Dancing Edge? The only time it's really safe is when you know you have to be in front of an enemy. You can tell your warrior that too. Hey, we have to split this damage. Where I'll be in my rotation means I will be in front of the boss, and there's no way to avoid that unless we can't split the cleave, or you need me outside of it, or you want to give me the debuff. And in that case, you have to do Dancing Edge. It's your highest potency skill. Other than that, you need to communicate with the warrior, and the warrior needs to be like, hey, Storm's Eye will be off for X amount of time. Can you get the next Storm's Eye so I can get paths? You know, that's communication that should be happening between you and a warrior. Obviously, in the Duty Finder, you pretty much can figure out really quickly if your warrior is going to do Storm's Eye or not going to do Storm's Eye. A lot of times you get warriors in the Duty Finder that just do Butchers and Path. They reduce the damage, and they generate the enmity, and they don't do any of the slashing debuff. Excuse me, I've had it happen a lot. In that case, I just do Dancing Edge. There's no point in complaining at the warrior. I want the run to be done so I don't have to do Dancing Edge anymore. I'm not going to sit there and, you know, heckle the guy or bother the guy. Just be like, you know what? The dungeon's getting done. Is it optimal at most for me? No, but you know what? My job was, I was given this tool on my job for a reason. This happens to be a scenario where I can use it. You definitely want to communicate with the warrior, though. Like, you give an example here, and it's just, that warrior needs to let you know, hey, the next eye is yours. That way you can plan out the next 5 or 6 GCDs, anywhere from 2 to 6 GCDs, really. And that should work it all. That should work everything out, and it should turn out okay. Hopefully that answers the question. I tried as best as I could to describe scenarios in which it would work, and I just hope that that was sufficient for you. Okay, I know I've already guessed twice and gotten it wrong. I'm going to guess one more time, because the last time I saw Sabre, I know exactly who it is. And I was right this time, because that's who I thought it was the first 2 times. I knew it was you. Sabre, are you from the ghetto? Because I'm about to get a hold of that ass. That's another way for me to know who it is. The pickup lines. Every time. Recently made it my personal goal to reach 1 billion gil. Currently still pretty poor with 610. Oh, you're doing good. It's very easy to make money. Let's see. What's it called? Got a monthly income of 120 mil and getting there slowly. That's pretty good. That means that's honestly, to some people that sounds ridiculous, but as someone who knows people that take crafting really seriously, this isn't like a troll post or anything. Obviously there's some troll things like slowly or I'm poor with 610 mil, but this is actually a reasonable rate at which to gain gil if you're putting the time and effort into it. Obviously, not everyone has that time, and not everyone wants to put in that effort, so don't be jelly. Just know that that is entirely possible, and you can make even more than that in a month, realistically. Problem is, let's see. However, there's just one thing that kind of annoys me. I craft all my glamours HQ for the sake of crafter pride. Problem is, all these lazy bitches keep mass crafting NQ glamours, which are worth exactly the same. It's infuriating, which leads to my question, would it be cool if HQ crafted glamours had some kind of extra feature? I think they should. In all honesty, I think that anything HQ should have something that makes it stand out over the normal quality. I don't know, I just feel like that adds value to the market, because a lot of the times these items that are normal quality that people are using for glamours, you know, that's where the value is. The HQ's value is only there if you're planning on using it in combat, and most people simply don't. So I think that crafted items, it would obviously take more time to design, although I'm sure they would find like effects they could recycle that would be effective, but I think that would honestly be a fair thing, and I think it would open the market up a little bit more. People who just want to mass NQ and people who specifically want that higher quality glamour. And let's be real, glamour is the true endgame. Alright, next question. Hey, Mr. Happy, do you think Alex Midas. I'll accept it. Normal mode should be harder than Alex Gordius. Alright, let me finish answering this, because should be is a strong word. I know most are wondering how difficult Alex Savage will be, but for most players who will only do normal mode, which I've learned is a huge portion of people who literally just love normal mode, should it go above the difficulty of A4 or should it be reset? So I actually spoke about this a little bit before. When you design a new raid tier for an MMO, you don't think this raid tier has to be harder than the last one. You don't ever go into it that, unless you are literally designing it so you tell your community the first one will be the easiest, the next one will be harder, and the last one will be the hardest. If you communicate that, then yes, it's expected. But in this case, no, that's not the way it works at all. I don't think there's any reason Midas normal mode needs to be harder, outside of the occasional person who's been saying, I think the normal mode should be equivalent to Coil and then Savage should be higher. That community, I've realized, is very niche. There's a lot of people, like, I've learned, like, I remember mentioning, like, normal mode being a waste of time, and so many people came out of the woodworks like, holy, like, I love normal mode. Normal mode's great. It's perfect for me. It's great for my time. I realized how many people really actually enjoyed normal mode. I was surprised. And by that, and for that reason, I don't fuck with talking shit about normal mode no more. Unless I have to. So, yeah, I think that, it'll probably be around the same difficulty. I don't think there's any reason for it to... They don't need to deliberately design it to be harder. Sometimes fight designs just come off as harder. And they aren't actually deliberately designed to be more difficult. I think that could happen here in normal. I think it's most likely that the fights are just the same-ish difficulty. And you have a second question. Do you think Square should do a big change to jobs in the future patches? Not in patches, in expansions. In expansions, you really should kind of go all out and explore with just rapid change. I know that it depends on who you ask. I'm someone who enjoys when, like, something feels completely different after an expansion, because it's almost like I just got, let's say we have 13 jobs and 14 right now, it'll almost be like getting 13 brand new jobs to play. But I also know that that kind of sucks. Like, Bard kind of had that with Wanderer's Minuet, and people hated it. So I'm kind of on the fence about that. I don't think they need to do big changes to jobs. There are certain changes I would like to see. I prefer that a job works, and not that it has to work different all the time. I do appreciate big changes as long as those changes are efficient and are still relatable to the job. Like Summoner's big change with Dreadworm Trance is a good example. I felt that better captured Summoner as a whole, because Summoner's always been about charging up for that big attack, and then boom, it's gone all at once. And that's pretty much what Dreadworm Trance does, and you are infused with the power of a summon, one that is iconic to the series. So I think it actually worked out okay. I don't think you need to change up the playstyle, but I think that doing things like changing potencies and ironing out certain skills, something they definitely should do in future patches. Next question is so short that you can see when the last edit was, and you can report it to a moderator. Hi, Hap. Question for week 78. So I have some lore. Oh, tomestones. All right. Can you get LBR back on Save the Realm? That's going to be something that's going to take a while to do. Not that it couldn't happen, but that's going to take a while. Getting people on the show is not something that just says, hey, you want to be on the show this Tuesday? Yeah, sure. No, it's pretty much something you want to arrange weeks in advance, because you got to make sure that all the hosts are available. You got to make sure that it's a topic you can all agree on. That has to be worked on together. The script has to be worked on together. There's a lot of things that go into it. So I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying that it's something that needs to... We need to have a topic that it's reasonable to have them on. We don't want to waste their time, and we don't want to make it awkward for anyone watching. So one day, it's very possible. We'll see, though. I always love collaborating with those guys, because Nero is a fucking troll, man. Nero, you on Twitter? I saw you on Twitter the other day. Oh my god, this guy right here. It's alright. I love you, Nero. And of course, the rest of the LBR cast is... And Nero always fucking blows my mind. He makes me laugh all the fucking time. Alright, next question. Hey, Mr. Happy, long-time viewer, first-time asker, so have my alt A2 Savage to A4 Savage Law bonus. Why haven't you done A2 to 4 in your alt? Come on, go do it. Come on. Try to keep this as brief as possible. Basically, I didn't want to transfer to Greg, but I want to see the equality of the endgame there, so I invested a level 60 warrior alt. So far, I had a pretty good time. My main character's on a server with very few teams even capable of clearing it. Now I understand why. A3 and 4. I want to see if the grass was truly greener, since I've actually decided to invest the time into making and leading a semi-hardcore group on my main server, because I want to use my words and work on the community there. Good on you. I like that. I like the community building. My alt is homeless since this decision. I want to join a raiding free company, but I don't know how to split the time between the two characters. But I'm afraid my lack of an A3 and A4 Savage clear disqualifies me from most free companies. Think about maybe applying to Elysium General Membership or similar hardcore free company while my skill likely not on par. I believe my knowledge of the game could be, and thus theorizing my social skills could contribute to these groups even if I'm not reading on my alt until 3.3 or 3.4. It's worth to get a job. So I actually don't know very much about applying to free companies. I've always kind of, I don't want to say I had it easy, but I don't know. I've always just gone places where it's kind of just worked out. You know what I mean? Like, when I first joined Legacy, I had a friend who got in and said, yeah, I have 3 friends. Can they come join too? And it was like, yeah. And then I ended up joining the raid group in that free company, and it worked out great for several patches. And 2.4 came around, and I applied to a bunch of high-end free companies. One of them said, hey, you have a bard. Our bard is leaving, or our bard, we're looking for a replacement for our current bard. And I mean, I took that. It was such an opportune time. You know, I don't really know what it's. I'm not very good at doing general recruitment, and most MMOs I never join a guild or a clan because I'm always so limited in time and time I can invest into being part of a free company's community. So it's hard for me to really give you any advice on this front because I honestly feel like I've always been bad at it. Like even in Final Fantasy 11, before anyone knew who the fuck I was just so bad at when it came to recruitment. I don't know. I felt uncomfortable. I felt like I was forcing myself onto free companies, and while I did join some really good free companies or link shells in 11, I always felt awkward doing it. I'm like the awkward guy at the party who's like, haha, hey, everyone's having this conversation. I'm going to stand off here on the side, and haha, that's funny. I'm that guy. So I don't think I can give you very good advice on this front. Best I could say is try. What do you got to lose? That's what I did in 11. That's what I did in 14. Just try. Just put yourself out there. If someone takes you, someone takes you. You know? Don't not do it because you don't know what will happen. Just do it. You know what I'm saying? Alright, next question. Hola, Senor Feliz. Long-time follower, first-time asker, at least via the forums. So I have a colorful, shiny Neth mount. Alright, what do you think about the airship explorations for free companies where the free company master has to keep all the loot? I mean, even though the rest of the company didn't help building the airship, I think it's a bit selfish using the free company credits and not sharing anything to the rest. Are you saying someone who goes in the diadem takes all the spoils? Fuck that. Hell no! You do not give the free company leader access to all of the spoils. No! The only way you're gonna do that is if that same leader does a group of 8 people, and you take turns giving every single person, and he gets first dibs. That's literally the only way that's going to work out. No, I wouldn't run with a fucking guy who was taking every single brass spoil or every single item out of the diadem. No. That's not Square Enix's problem. You just don't play with that guy. You just don't fall into that cycle. You just be like, alright, fuck it. I mean, I can understand you built it on your own, but you literally cannot do this content without us, and we're not here to bring you through the content. I do agree it is pretty shitty that if he had to do it all on his own and there's been no compensation or no even remote thanks. But to do that, that's not the right way to get compensation. That's not the right way to build a community, build a free company. That's just like dictatorship right there. I don't appreciate that, and I don't agree with this exact means of getting your time's worth of investment back. All right, next question. All right. Serious question time. Oh shit. Do you think we'll ever get another Umbral event like Bahamut? In your opinion, what would take to push us into another Umbral era? Anything can push you into another Umbral era if it's massive enough. Zodiark returning is a big one. Although that would probably not be an Umbral era. That would likely be the last era we ever have. So Omega destroying the world could happen. The Warring Triad could theoretically cause an Umbral era. Urian J actually believing the Ascians could lead to something drastic. I don't know. Minfilia being, I don't know, possessed like Thancred was because she's so closely tied to Heidelin. Like, there's so many things that could go wrong. Like, Alexander getting free would lead to an Umbral era. Like, so many things. Pretty much every threat could lead to an Umbral era, including the Dragon Song War, I feel. So, anything at all. I don't think we'll see the 8th Umbral era. I don't think we'll see that. I think we're done with changing the game in such a way like Bahamut did. Like, we can't World of Warcraft Cataclysm us twice, you know what I'm saying? So I think there's, theoretically a lot of events that could happen that could cause it. I don't think we'll have another one. Alright, next question. Hey, Happy, no bonus from me, I'm afraid, so I have your weekly cap of red gather scripts. That matters to me more than anything. I've TLDR'd the question if time is an issue. Yeah, we're going on pretty long, so I should probably just go down to the TLDR. Alright, I read it. TLDR, console peasants want to play Blade Soul on the side for 14. Should I invest in a mouse, and if so, any suggestions? Yeah, I would not recommend playing it with the gamepad, dude. I'm sorry. You don't really need an MMO mouse to play Blade and Soul, so you can go with one of my SteelSeries mice. If you go to my live stream, like go to my Twitch channel, you can actually type !SteelSeries, and it'll take you to a landing page where you can buy SteelSeries stuff through me, #sellout, and you get a 10% discount. If you're looking for buttons on the side, I use a Razer Naga Epic. It's a 2014 model. I prefer the older models because they fit my hand a little bit better. I don't recommend the regular Razer Naga. I think it's a very, very awkward mouse to handle. And the G600 is really preferred by a lot of people, Logitech G600, but I never like it. Again, it doesn't fit my hand very well, so I can't recommend it. So it all depends on what you really think. I don't think you need mouse buttons really for Blade Soul. I use them, but I don't think they're mandatory. So yeah, I'd say invest in a mouse, sure, why not? Next question. Hey there, Hap. Hey. Random meaningless question about dungeon loot. That's never a good way to start, man. You never want to tell me the question's meaningless. Oh well. 2 sets of level 60 dungeons, Fractal Reap and Mocian, and Pharos both have filler loot and treasure chests. Fractal Reap has dyes and clear prisms, and Pharos has clear prisms. While dyes are somewhat fun to get, it's the only way to get them. The clear prisms are a waste because you can just straight up buy them for 200 gil each. Thinking that instead of having clear prisms, maybe just give 1,000 gil. I wouldn't mind 1,000 gil. Like, I'm not gonna sweat over it, though. Like, I don't sweat over any of the fucking shit that's in the treasure chests and dungeons. You know what I'm saying? Like, you called it filler loot. I think it would be nice to have more rewarding things in them. Like, I like when minions are inside of them occasionally. But, I mean, other than that, I don't really care. Like, 1,000 gil, I'm not gonna stress myself over. I'm not gonna go out of my way for 1,000 gil. Especially if it's to a random player, you know what I'm saying? So, why not? Like, sure, if you want to add stuff or change it, go right ahead. It's just, I personally, like you said, meaningless to me, at the very least. Next question. Hey, Haps, just a quick ninja accuracy question. I'm on A3 Savage, about to go upgrade from my SO hands to the Gordian hands. I'm not sure if doing so will cause me to start missing. Can't seem to figure out the flank cap. I can't seem to find rear or flank caps. There's literally a full list of rear or flank caps in a Reddit post somewhere. I'm sitting on 647 without food, and after upgrading, it'll be 606, 624. You need at least 635, so you will not be okay. I would say skip out on it for now. It sucks. Like, this happens a lot. Or you need to be using more expensive food. Because, wait, you're only getting 18 accuracy. Or it's not baked papier, is it? Is that baked papier? You gotta use grilled sweetfish, dude. If you want to do that upgrade, you gotta switch to grilled sweetfish. So, because you're only getting 18 accuracy. You should be getting more than 29 accuracy from whatever food you're using. So if you use grilled sweetfish, you'll be okay. Urchin loaf technically would be the best, but I think that's too much accuracy. You are gonna need Urchin Loaf if you beat A3 and you don't have more accuracy. And then in a few weeks it won't matter. There'll be a whole new set of gear for you to get. That'll have new accuracy on it. You know, you'll be doing Midas Savage instead. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. You know, just get some grilled sweetfish for now and you'll be a-okay. Alright, next question. First time posters, so have absolutely nothing because I spent all my gil on relic items. At least you have your priorities straight. 1, I am disabled and play games with one hand. You know, I know a lot of people like that. It's honestly a bigger demographic than people give it credit for, and I have a lot of respect for people who manage to get satisfaction out of games while not being able to play the way everyone else plays. Like, oh, you know, I got this mouse, this keyboard. No, you got your setup and you fucking work it, my man. So I've been drawn to MMOs for the last 15 years because they are relatively easy to play with their tap targeting systems. However, as of late, more and more MMOs are going for action combat, which makes targeting playing very difficult, if not impossible. WildStar was the exception, but who plays that for anything but housing? Wow. Burn. My question is here, do you think tap target MMOs are on the way out? Not completely, but like, MMOs as a genre are, and I wrote a script for this and I need to record the rest of it. Actually, I think I recorded the audio for it too. There's a lot more interest in action-based MMOs nowadays. I'll leave a lot of the details for my MMO like memory / way the industry is moving video. And is 14 going to be the last great MMO that suits your style? I don't know. Like, it's hard to tell. There's no way of knowing. Like, a lot of people are moving towards action. So, just be on the lookout. I couldn't tell you. I think that action MMOs are really, like, coming up, though. And 2, for Monk, how long should the target be alive minimum to warrant using Demolish Touch of Death? A2 Savage is a pretty bad place to use Touch of Death. Demolish, they just need to be up for... There is an exact time. I don't have it on the top of my head, though. They don't need to be alive too long. I think they need to be alive at least as long as... Is it 4 or 5 GCDs after it? I think it's... I think it's like 6 to 7 GCDs after it. I can't remember how long. A2 Savage is not a good place for dots very often, unless the target's going to be alive for most of its duration. That's really when you know, if your demolish lasts the entire time, or almost the entire time, that's when you're 100% certain it's worth it. Other than that, if it dies in like 8 to 12 seconds, no. Probably not worth using it. Next question. Hi, Happy. I'm interested in the VIT strength issue in regards to tank. If it becomes the consensus stat to use for tanks, which it probably will be, won't that make Warrior even stronger? Defiant Stance will get the 20% multiplier effect on top of the... I mean, they've had that forever. Also, okay, so here's the thing. That health pool is only useful if they actually make fights that can break through it. Now, the thing is about Vitality is this patch is a direct nerf to all tank damage. A lot of people don't read it that way, but until we see what the exact specifications are, it's very likely Vitality will not increase physical attack power by 1. Because if it does, then, and Strength still affects it, it affects it less, but Strength still affects physical attack power, then they will have the highest physical attack power of any job in the game. If Vitality is a 1.0 scaling, 1 Vitality equals 1 physical attack power, and then Strength, even if it had like a 0.1, it is still going to have more physical attack power than every other job in the game. What I suspect will happen is the combined, look at your body piece right now, and combine the Vit and the Strength. Those two things combined will likely equal the same amount of physical attack power, and then the real choice will just come in the accessories. In which case, if Vitality is not a 1.0 scaling, then before meld, it's technically weaker than what the Strength had on before it. Yes, Warrior has the insane health pool, and yes, it is very convenient that they have both health and damage on the same stat now. It's definitely something that's more convenient, but it only looks really convenient against current boss fights where you don't need that kind of health pool. It's hopeful and likely that boss fights from now on will be designed with those new health pools in mind, which means tanks are going to be taking an insane amount more damage than they were before. That is how I expect it to evolve, but don't get me wrong, Warriors, they're going to like it. They're going to like this change. They're not going to like the slightly less damage they're getting up front, but they are going to probably just like having that health pool and not needing to decide between, hey, do I go Strength, do I go Vitality? I assume Vitality is just going to be the main staple here. Alright, next question. Hey, Haps, returning asker, so no bonus, but I have a coopity ton of goodwill and good times. Gotta live life, right? Recently just played episode Deuce-K, hella late. It's alright. Then I talked to a couple friends, they said they were worried this little title because Square's main series Final Fantasy title is becoming increasingly difficult from what most of us have come to know and expect. Given the changes to all the games after 10 and the 7 remake, I don't blame them, but I personally don't mind. Me neither. As long as Square keeps what I feel are Final Fantasy core features, the reoccurring summons, at least some skeleton of the job system, and incredible characters. The job system is not as common in Final Fantasy games. A lot of the times they're just alluded to. Like, hey, you can get a spear and you have jump. Like, but you're not a Dragoon. It's just, that's what you have. Like, I think they'll be fine. My question is, how do you feel about the changes? Do you see this as inevitable for mainstream titles? How many changes are you willing to tolerate before you reach your limit break? I don't care. You know what I like about Final Fantasy games? The fact that every one I play is really long, has a good story, and is in a completely different universe than the last one. Those are the 3 things I value most. Do I like turn-based combat? Yeah. Do I like action-based combat? Yeah. So, it doesn't fucking matter to me. You know what I'm saying? And they have to adjust. Like, you can't just keep doing the same fucking thing over and over again. Because guess what? For every person that says, oh, wow, I'm so, like, happy they're keeping turn-based combat, there's another person saying, fucking another turn-based game? Like, can you make something else? So there's no making it. Obviously, there's never making everyone happy. But we're in a generation now where AAA games are getting more and more expensive to create. And Final Fantasy 15 is one of those games that when people saw it as Versus 13, they were hyped as shit. They didn't care it wasn't turn-based. And now all of a sudden it's like it's a main title. It's 15. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, why? It's not turn-based, but it's a main game. Why don't they do turn-based anymore? Then we got World of Final Fantasy if you want turn-based, and that's looking to be a pretty good game. You got Bravely Default, Bravely Second on the 3DS. You want a turn-based game? There you go. And there's plenty of other turn-based games that are out there, even if they're not AAA turn-based games. They're out there. You can find them. Trust me. They're there. Go on Steam. You'll find RPGs. Trust me. Darkest Dungeon. Recommend it. I think the only thing they could pretty much do to piss me off at this point is, like, make a shitty story. Like, I don't want 15 to suck. I don't think it's going to be like a 10 out of 10, hey, this was worth 10 years waiting for a game. But I expect it to be decent. That's it. Like, I want a good game. That's what I want. So this game, as a package, Is the combat flow? Is the story good? How many hours did I get out of it? Does it have a lot of cool features? Does it have extra stuff for me to do? Does it have all that? Great. Fantastic. I see a Chocobo. I see a Moogle. I see cars. Alright, cool. I drove a car in Final Fantasy VIII. No one gave a shit then. Now all of a sudden it matters. I don't know. I don't care. It looks like a good title to me. I want to play it. That's all that matters. Alright, next question. Sup, Happy? I've been here before, so you get nothing. That's a really, really harsh way to put it. Actually, I have some A1 Savage books. You're welcome. Yeah, great. Let me buy some Vitality accessories for my warrior. Although it wasn't explicitly stated, will the addition of materia slots make Alex Savage gear the best gear? Oh, they literally... Well, first of all, Alex Savage gear was going to be the best gear in the game until 3.4. It was supposed to be the best gear in the game until 3.2 also. You know, Alex Savage 1, best gear until 3.2. Alex Savage 2, best gear until 3.4. Sometimes crafted pieces work their way in, especially for healers and tanks. Healers probably still, but tanks not so much anymore. Although, actually, I still expect crafted accessories to be pretty damn good this coming patch, actually. For everyone, actually. What's it called? Are you of the opinion that the best non-Savage gear should be crafted but difficult to make? It doesn't really matter to me. You know, I want to beat the fight. I don't really care, per se, exactly where all the best gear comes from. I believe ratings should give the best gear. I am of that mind, and if you're going to make crafted gear equivalent to it or better than it, make it so you have to do the raid in order to get those aspects of the crafted gear. That being said, it's like, I just want to do some good fight. It kind of goes back to the last question. I want to just do some, play a good game. That's all I want to do. Just want to fight some big bosses, do some world prog, have a good story, and have something that I can go back to my viewers with and be like, hey, I like this. That's what matters to me. Also, Monk over Dragoon over Black Mage over Ninja over Summoner over Bard over Machinist. Agree or disagree for top DPS? I would put Black Mage, like, way up there. Like, Machinist, I'll agree with you. Probably on the bottom. Monk, I don't know. I value raid DPS more. Like, I would put Monk below Dragoon and Ninja. But if this is on personal DPS, I'd put Monk and Dragoon like pretty close to each other. I've seen some variants. I've seen some Dragoons on some fights that pull ahead, some Monks that pull ahead on others. Depends on the skill, depends on crit variants, like it depends on your party, depends on mechanics targeting people. It comes down to a lot of things. They're pretty damn near equal. But I value Dragoon more. So and I would Black Mage is fucking murder. Like holy shit. A good Black Mage like shits on everything right now, especially with the proper support of a Bard. Like, it's insane. So, I mean, I would probably put Black Mage a little bit higher on that. But Ninja definitely deserves to be kind of on the lower end near Summoner. And Bard is, you know, well, good. I would definitely put it Bard and Machinist there right at the end. But where are we? Where's Warrior? I was about to end the question. That's what I do at the end of the question. I just make a cold stone face and I just cut. Where's Warrior? Dude, Warrior's like best tank, healer, DPS, best support, best fucking mid for the NBA. I don't know. I was just trying to... It's Super Bowl. I want to make a sports joke, but I didn't want to make a football joke. Where's Warrior? Alright guys, this video is running on pretty long, so I think I'm going to make this question the last one. There was I think 3 or 4 other questions that I couldn't get to, so apologies if I couldn't get to them. Hopefully you can ask early next week so it can be one of the first questions I get to, and you kind of guarantee that I get to those questions. But anyway, this is going to be the last one. So, Super Robot Monkey Team Happy Force Go. I don't like hearing the term monkey anymore. After Puppy Monkey Baby, it just kill me now. But thank you for asking a question. 2 quick ones. Is there ever a time for a warrior to be a main tank? If you have 2 of them, that's a one scenario. And see, back in A Realm Reborn, it made a lot more sense. It was more raid DPS back in the day to make the warrior main tank and the paladin off tank. It's not really the case anymore. We have our warrior pull on a Force Savage because his DPS on the leg is more valuable as a main tank because, so you know, like the off, so on A4 Savage, the off tank and 1 DPS will get pulled into the quarantine. We find it more valuable to have the warrior on the first leg. He'll do more DPS from that position, although Dark Knight as a main tank does a shit ton of damage. And he also pretty much stays Deliverance the entire first leg, so it's not even like he's Defiance. And then the Dark Knight's DPS, like his DPS is more valued in that short period of time. So if there's ever a tank where you're only going to have 1 of your 2 tanks on the boss, and they're trying to output more DPS, that's kind of when you want a warrior to be the main tank. But other than that, like, it's not like a warrior's a bad main tank. Warrior's just fucking fine. Warrior's great as a main tank. But Deliverance, a little bit better as an off tank. So, I'll say there are times. There are times where some groups just prefer to do it anyway. Maybe the warriors just got a better grasp of the initial pull. There are scenarios where it works out. And 2, how do you stay focused through monotonous things like long grinds? I'm a freak of nature. That's how. I also stream a lot, and I produce YouTube videos on it. That makes it a little bit easier. So, I don't really have a fair opinion on this one. How did I do it back in the day? I was a high school kid. I was a college kid. I didn't give a fuck. I just played video games and still got my grades. That's all that really mattered. I use it as a learning experience, really. Like, I learned a lot of vocabulary. I learned to, like, I don't know, not channel, like, friggin' process statistics a little bit better. It's a little weird. I use a lot of my in-game knowledge in college and in high school. So, it is what it is, though. Hopefully that was a good answer for your question. But thank you, everyone, for your questions this week. If you have a question or you ask a question I didn't get to it, be sure to go to the Dream Network forums under the stream, or under the, I always call it the stream, I do this almost every week, under the YouTube video. Go there, sign up, ask your question. The earlier in the week you do it, the better chance you have at me getting to answer it. And also, if it's a really long question, I ask that you add a TLDR, just so we can be fair to some of the other people. We can get to as many questions as possible. Also, the videos again, real quick. I almost forgot. Let me turn this off right here. There we go. There. Videos. The videos were at a completely different time than I intended them to be last week. I was like, why are the videos at this point? What? Was I even paying attention? I don't know that I was, but my bad. But anyway, thank you again for watching this week's episode of Mondays with Mr. Happy. Hopefully you've been enjoying some of the content we've been putting out recently, and hopefully you'll be enjoying patch 3.2 in the very near future. Yes, this is a 3DS stylus. You already know what I'm going to be doing after this. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. See you next week, and until then, take care.